I want to talk about the product itself.
Yeah.
So far, your focus has been on the smart contract layer, the trustless nature of the smart contracts and the audits and everything that has to go with that. And then I'm guessing in the next couple of weeks, a big focus is going to be on the front end. So, what data does your front end expose today, and what data are you looking to expose over the coming weeks?
I guess actually over the long term, our focus is on the protocol more than on the front end. In fact, we're at a stage where we're redesigning the protocol. So we're actually starting to build out new smart contracts. Um, for us, the way we see the front end is it's there and it's a way to guide user experiences, just the way like Compound's front end is a way to guide um, other projects into thinking of what front ends can be built, but it's not the front end to the protocol. We don't see it as that at all. And it's more important for us to support other developers building on our protocol, and more important for us to build a very, very secure solidity like base, because that's something that's that's like the fundamental part of building risk management of the future. And so all our efforts are mostly focused on that. Yeah.
I mostly agree with that aspect because you cannot cater to all kinds of use cases. Maybe you're catering to a professional trader who wants to be overwhelmed with data. They don't want to see any white space anywhere. Or a more novice user who just wants a single buy button and doesn't really care about
Exactly.
different calculations. And so I think that's the right choice. And I think the space is moving towards that, where you have these aggregators who are providing all of these different scenarios for different use
Exactly.
cases.
Exactly. But in building like a rocket ship, you can't really have it explode halfway through.
Yeah.
That's the last thing that you can afford. And so it's more important to like really deeply understand what the problem is that users are facing, and accordingly figure out what if I built will actually get massive adoption in like a few months from now. And it's okay that it takes that long development process, um, because it's more important for like that thing to not explode than it is for me to ship that today. And another way we think about, I guess, like our iteration cycle is, um, you can afford to move fast and break things at a front end level, but you can't exactly do that at the smart contract level. Um, but you don't necessarily have to take like 5 years to build out a new protocol. You can keep the kind of trust with users and keep up the momentum by like doing few month-long cycles. It could be like 5 to 6 months, 5 to 8 months. Those are still reasonable, and just being open and communicative with your users about it, and communicating to them that at the end of the day, the most important thing for them and for you is the safety of their money, because um, at the end of the day, like it's it's so important for someone someone who comes into DeFi and loses money is never going to use DeFi ever again. Like imagine putting your life savings into a platform that you thought was safe and you lose so much money in an unexpected way, you get burned. That's the worst user experience. And so it's okay for people to wait the additional time just for this additional security. So I guess that's how we think about it.
Okay, cool. So in your view, then Maker should have compensated those guys on March 13th who lost money.
Well, no, because I think so. What happened on March 13th was a very interesting scenario where I think it's interesting because I've literally thought of that scenario so many times where it actually doesn't end with Paradigm tweeting, "Hey, like we're gonna we're gonna step into this auction." It ends way worse, where Maker goes down, hits emergency shutdown, causes a bank run on Compound because now everyone's panicking and not able to die. No longer doesn't works as a collateral, so compounds shut down. Compound shuts down basically means every other like money market on DeFi has shut down, which means like it's basically the crash of DeFi as we know. And I don't think it was an event that we didn't foresee. It's something we all knew at the back of our heads. I think as human beings, we tend to downplay the existence of black swan events and kind of like to think of them as, oh, that's it's not really going to happen, and then they happen, and then we're like, whoa, like how did this happen? But math and probability is not going to tell you everything. Maybe there's like a 0.01% chance that DeFi ends that way. Doesn't mean we should not be prepared. Like, if there's that chance, like, what is the impact that such an event could have is something we need to mentally prepare for. And I think, well, I don't know if makers should or should not pay these people, like what the legal angle from all of that looks like. Is maker like as an organization liable? Are MKR holders liable? All of these are open questions, no clear black and white there. Rather, I think I'd like to pose it as there are going to be risks in DeFi, and there will continue to be black swan events. It's our responsibility as DeFi builders to also put into place measures so that like these situations don't just continue to happen and people don't just continue to lose money in unexpected ways. It's kind of like putting into place the checks and measures necessary, if that makes
Okay,
sense.
makes sense.